The old woman stood beneath a redwood older than any nation on earth. Her weathered hands pressed against the bark as tears rolled down her face. Around her, dozens of settlers and native families knelt in silence, praying for a miracle. They had no money, no army, and no power to stop the man riding toward them. Miles away, the thunder of hooves echoed through the valley. At the head of 100 armed men rode a wealthy timber baron carrying contracts in one hand and rifles in the other. He had come to destroy the forest that had protected generations. Everyone believed the battle was already lost. But what happened next would turn ordinary people into legends and force one ruthless man to face a truth stronger than greed. Stay with this story until the very end, because the fate of the Redwoods, and the sacrifice of one unlikely hero, will leave you speechless. Northern California, 1887. The redwood forest stretched toward the sky like giant pillars holding up heaven itself. Some trees had stood for nearly 2,000 years. Their massive trunks were wider than cabins, and their tops disappeared into the clouds. To outsiders, it was simply valuable timber. To the people who lived there, it was home. Among them was Ethan Walker, a widowed Civil War veteran who had left violence behind years ago. He lived in a small cabin near the edge of the forest with his teenage daughter Sarah. Since losing his wife to illness, Ethan had dedicated himself to a peaceful life. Every morning he worked the land, repaired fences, and taught Sarah to respect the forest that provided them shelter. The nearby settlement was unlike any other in the West. Settlers, ranchers, and local native families had learned to live together. They shared harvests, protected each other during hard winters, and celebrated under the ancient trees. The redwoods were more than wood and leaves. They were symbols of survival. One autumn morning, everything changed. A train arrived carrying representatives of Victor Blackwell, the richest timber owner on the West Coast. Blackwell was famous for acquiring land through intimidation and legal tricks. Wherever he went, forests vanished and towns became company property. His men nailed notices to buildings throughout the valley. According to newly filed documents, Blackwell now owned most of the forest. Residents were ordered to leave. The announcement struck the community like lightning. Families gathered in fear. Many had lived there for decades. Some held deeds proving ownership, yet somehow Blackwell's lawyers claimed authority over everything. Days later, Blackwell arrived personally. Tall, confident, and surrounded by armed guards, he rode through town as though he already owned every inch of it. He offered residents small payments for their homes and warned that resistance would be pointless. Most people felt helpless. But Ethan Walker sensed something darker. He had seen men like Blackwell during the war. Men who valued profit more than human life. The townspeople organized meetings. They searched for legal help. They sent letters to state officials. Weeks passed without answers. Then the first trees fell. The sound echoed across the valley like cannon fire. Children cried. Elders watched in silence. Each falling redwood felt like a piece of history being murdered. The community gathered beneath the largest tree in the forest, known as the Guardian. Settlers and native elders stood together, praying for help. Yet while they prayed, Blackwell ordered more crews into the woods. Axes swung. Saw blades screamed. The destruction accelerated. Then tragedy struck. One afternoon, Sarah and several children discovered workers preparing to cut down the Guardian itself. They ran to stop them. A confrontation followed. In the chaos, a frightened worker fired a rifle. No one was killed, but the message was clear. Blackwell was willing to use violence. That night, Ethan sat alone outside his cabin. For years he had buried the soldier inside him. Now he faced a terrible choice. Remain peaceful and watch everything disappear. Or fight. As the moon rose over the ancient forest, Ethan opened a wooden chest hidden beneath his bed. Inside lay the rifle he had not touched since the Civil War. The war he thought had ended long ago was coming back. And this time, it threatened the people he loved most. Word spread quickly that Ethan Walker was preparing to resist. At first, he did not seek violence. He trained volunteers to defend families, document Blackwell's crimes, and protect one another. Farmers became lookouts. Ranchers delivered messages. Native trackers guided people through hidden forest paths. Something remarkable began to happen. Instead of dividing the community, Blackwell's greed united it. People who had once argued over land and water now stood side by side. Blackwell underestimated them. He believed fear would break their spirit. Instead, it strengthened their resolve. As winter approached, Blackwell launched his final campaign. Hundreds of workers and armed guards entered the valley. Their objective was simple: destroy the Guardian and remove every remaining family. The night before the operation, the entire community gathered beneath the giant tree. Lanterns glowed among the roots. Children slept beside parents. Old rivals shook hands. Many believed it would be their last peaceful night. An elderly native woman stepped forward and spoke softly. She reminded everyone that the Redwoods survived storms, fires, and centuries of hardship because they stood together. Their roots intertwined beneath the earth, supporting one another. Her words transformed the crowd. The next morning, when Blackwell's forces arrived, they found something unexpected. Hundreds of people stood around the Guardian. Men, women, children, settlers, native families, all united. No one moved. No one ran. Blackwell ordered them aside. Silence answered. He threatened arrests. Still they remained. Then Ethan Walker stepped forward. In front of everyone, he revealed evidence proving Blackwell's land claims were fraudulent. For months, Sarah and several townspeople had secretly gathered documents exposing corruption, bribery, and forged signatures. At that exact moment, federal marshals rode into the valley. The evidence had finally reached honest officials. Blackwell's empire began collapsing before his eyes. Desperate and furious, he attempted to destroy the documents. A struggle followed. In the chaos, a fire erupted near the logging camp. Strong winds pushed flames toward the forest. Suddenly everyone faced a new enemy. Not greed. Not corruption. Fire. Without hesitation, Ethan organized the community. Even Blackwell's workers joined the effort. For hours they fought the flames together. Buckets passed hand to hand. Trees were cleared. Lives were risked. By sunrise, the fire was defeated. The Guardian still stood. So did the forest. Blackwell was arrested and taken away in chains. His empire disappeared through lawsuits and criminal investigations. The valley was saved. Years later, visitors traveled from across America to see the famous redwoods that ordinary people protected against impossible odds. Children grew into adults. Families prospered. And whenever newcomers asked how the forest survived, elders pointed to the giant trees. Their roots, hidden beneath the ground, were all connected. Just like the people who saved them. The lesson became a legend passed from generation to generation. Greed can carry axes and guns. But courage, unity, and love can protect even the oldest giants on Earth. And that is why the Redwoods still stand today. If today's story touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, even a small act of kindness can change someone's entire life. Red Heart.